Yes, my level, that's right. We would like to acknowledge this land that we meet on today as the traditional lands for the Gawler people and that respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Gawler people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Gawler people today. And we have an apology from Natasha and Adrian, but we're still awaiting Paul. Are there any motions to grant leave of absence? Oh, have we got a quorum? Didn't even think of that. Thank you. No, thank you, Karen. I didn't even think of it. No leaves of absence. Deborah Good. Deborah Good is a leave of absence until just for today. We may have a non-attendance. We'll have to wait and see. Are there any declarations of interest? Okay, I'd like to confirm minutes for, remind me again, Connie, what do I have to, apart from the minutes from the last meeting? Just the last meeting, okay, this is something separate. So would someone like to move that way? Helen, seconded by, thank you, Jeff. Any discussion? Those in favour, please show. Against, carried, thank you. Right, business arising from the minutes. 6.1, request for permission to publish Curtis family photographs. Jacinta, would you like to help us with that? Sorry, Karen has a comment.
I have a perceived, what is it? Is it a material, actual? Is it actual? No, not material. General. Thank you. General on 6.3, and I'll declare that then. Yeah.
Jacinta.
Through the Chair, we have received a request for copies of an individual, Charles Curtis, that reside in 2 of our photographs. The Miss Thodo, who'd like the images, is very happy just to have a headshot so we can extract that. One of these images is not in the public domain, so she'd be very appreciative if she could have those for her family history article that she's collecting at the moment. She may publish something further, but there will be an article and she will deposit a copy of that with the Cultural Heritage Centre.
Thank you, Jacinta. Any discussion? Helen.
The article she's doing, is that for the genealogical? Oh, sorry, I've lost track. She is going to actually publish an article. Is that the idea? So have we organised to try and get a copy of the article is where I'm heading, I guess.
So through the Chair, it's her intention. The Genealogical Society hasn't yet put out their list of things that they'll be publishing at this stage, but that is her intention and she will provide a copy if that happens.
Thank you, Jacinta. Anyone else in discussion? No? If not, I'll ask for someone to move that we recommend to Council. Thank you, Helen. Seconded by Jeff. Any further discussion? No. Those in favour, please show. Against? Carried. Thank you. Right, we will move to 6.2. 6.2, request for permission to publish Dead Man's Past poster.
Through the Chair, this was a visitor and his wife to Gawler from Victoria. They were very taken with Dead Man's Past in a lot of areas through the town. They saw the sign at Dead Man's Past that had the poster and they were after a high quality image of that. The original states that you could buy them from the Bunyip office or the Tourist Association, so it's an old poster. Obviously they can't, the VIC doesn't have them anymore, the Bunyip doesn't have them. We do have one in the collection and we could reproduce that. We're recommending that, given that it is in the public domain, that the gentleman could have just taken a photograph with his camera, but he's asking and doing the right thing, that we think this is an easy opportunity to build relationships with our interstate tourists.
Thank you, Jacinta. Any discussion? No? Someone like to move that be?
I'm happy to.
Thank you, Karen. Seconded by Helen. Okay, those in favour, please show. Against? Carried. Thank you.
A general conflict, yes. I attend the St Peter's and Paul's Catholic Church twice a month, and I will be declaring a general conflict. I will be staying in the room and not necessarily participating in the debate. I won't be moving or seconding a motion, and I will probably be staying silent. I think that if there's any questions around the 125th anniversary, I am attending that as Mayor. I have received an invitation and I will be going to that event this Sunday. So I will be staying in the room and I won't be participating in the debate. Thank you.
Can I ask a question as the chair? I can see no reason why she couldn't participate in discussion.
So through the chair, it's up to the individual declaring conflict whether they want to participate or not, and for reasons that the Mayor's outlined, she's choosing not to participate in the debate, so it's up to the individual.
Thank you. Right, someone like to discuss this? Helen?
Yeah, I'm happy to move this. I'm really pleased to see that we're able to help the organisations, and in return we will get a copy of their published books, so I think it's a win-win, and I think it can only help raise the profile of the Heritage Centre and the fact that there is an orderly method of getting hold of the material and being able to reproduce it to continue the history of all our organisations. So very happy to move this.
Thank you, Helen. Someone could second it, please? You'll have to, Jeff. I suppose you're the only one left that's eligible. All right, those in favour, please show. Okay, thank you. Carried. .4, request for permission to publish the... Sorry, yes?
Just a late breaking thought. Given that we still don't know where that original is, and they've tried researching it as well, and I presume they've been back through the Catholic archives, or we don't know how far they've gone back. It's just curious that, yeah.
So through the chair, the request to help only came last week. So we were scrambling, and as you can see in the report, we did our best for all the institutional records to see. Now, I'm not sure what the Catholic archives have. As the report says, we only have a photocopy, so it's not the original photograph. Somebody's brought it in at some stage, and I think the library's copied it for the record.
I think the 125th anniversary has been a rather rushed affair, and I think they thought of it at the last minute and they just wanted to see if we had any. I think that's probably the nub of the matter, and yeah, I don't know if they've gone down to the Archdiocese. They probably should have, and yeah, there's lots of different things going on there.
If just maybe we should flag, perhaps a small group of us should go down, perhaps with Pat, and further this and follow it through ourselves. Yeah. Because we do have something that is not, this is not the first time that has come up, that particular image, so it might be worth us, and while we're at it, we should probably do the other church archives as well. Put that on the list of things to do.
I tend to agree. I think the Catholic Church in Gawler probably needs a bit of a helping hand, and Pat Sheehan she did the history of the Catholic Church, a fairly extensive history, and I think some of us who are Catholics probably know their way around the Archdiocese.
No comment. Okay. 6.4, the Finch request.
So through the chair, this one came in at the last minute last week too, and their celebration is coming up very quickly. The a lady from the school, a parent, approached the Cultural Heritage Centre seeing what we might have on the school. We don't have a great deal, but what we do have is the testimonial to the Misses, the two Miss Finches, for their work teaching at the school. When we delved into the archives and the records available on Trove, we saw that those two women were quite integral in many, many years of education at the school. Miss Hannah Finch was the first head teacher at a time when very few women were accorded that position, and that came on her extensive teaching experience in Gawler. The Roseworthy primary school community did not know any of this information, so we feel that this is a real opportunity for the stories of those two women to be further known. So the school is asking for a copy of the testimonial and a copy of Hannah Finch's photograph, which we have Annalisa's photograph, so that they can display them. So there won't be a publication, but they'll be able to display them and speak to their community about the role those women had in establishing the school and the longevity of the school, and really raising the educational standard. When we look at the testimonial, when the two women retired, they were given the Finch testimonial that we have, but they were also handed a bag of sovereigns, and a great many glowing speeches were given at the time on the role and impact that those two women had had on education and the Roseworthy community. So we think this is a real opportunity to celebrate two women's story that have not been formally told before that.
Make a great Bunyip article.
I agree, Judy. I think it would be a great Bunyip article, but it also goes to show that this is a regional centre. This is a regional, and the Gawler Heritage Collection goes across the region. I know it goes out to Port Parham, and it goes out to Two Wells, and it goes out, and it would include Roseworthy, because Roseworthy is only just a hop, skip and a jump, up the road. And so I think that that's a really important piece of information, and it shows the power of the Gawler Heritage Collection. And I agree, yes. Somebody who's really good at wordsmithing should write the article. Anyway, I'll leave that in others' hands.
I'm prepared to do it. What I'll do is I'll come down to the centre. When are you on? Only Mondays you're not there, is it?
No, not there
Fridays.
Fridays.
No, not Fridays. Okay. It'll have to be next week's. When is the celebration at the school?
The celebration is at the end of October, so from memory I can get this through the committee, the council, and then we will be going straight that weekend after council meeting.
I actually did some relief teaching there after I retired. It's a lovely little school. All right, I'll yes. Helen.
Yeah, I just wanted to reinforce, I recall that when the Rosedale School closed, we were approached by the parent body there who wanted to deposit their history in Gawler. They recognised, and this is going back more than a dozen years, probably 15 or 16, and they wanted to deposit the local history here because that was the nearest archive centre to Rosedale. They didn't want it to go into the city, they wanted it here. So you're right, Mayor. We serve that regional thing, and we have a strength, as we know, in education. So this is great and builds that relationship, which I'm sure will be. There's other things that connect us with Roseworthy, and it can only help that we're helping them regain their history as well. I'm just thinking, if we're intending to get the article in for next week, it's Bunyip. No, it would be the week after. No, you can do it. You have to give them notice. No, sorry. There is a way that you can. You can get stuff in.
It won't be next week. It'll take me a while to do the research, and I'm going away for the whole of this weekend, so I won't be able to do anything this weekend. My sister's 80th birthday in Strathalbyn. Can't help out until next week, but it'll be in time, because if there's 2 weeks grace, it should be all right. All right, could someone please move that we do this for the Roseworthy School? Moved Karen, seconded by Helen. Those in favour, please show. Against, carried. Thank you. 6.5. Okay, that's the collection inquiries. Did you want to speak to that at all, Jacinta?
So through the chair, I thought just for interest's sake, I might highlight the 2 international inquiries because I thought you would be interested. So I went back through the records. So the gentleman from Brussels was interested in the occupations of certain subscribers to Lloyd's registers, and there was a company called Brown Ubik and Co that were in Port Gawler, but they did things in Gawler, and so he was looking for information on those. And the New Zealand inquiry was a family history inquiry.
Fantastic, yeah.
It's when you see it in your email line, you think, wow, Brussels, yes.
All right, so we're just noting that, yeah.
They were wool merchants and grain merchants. Brown and Eubank and Co. So it was very early, it's in the 1850s. Yeah, so there wasn't a lot of information available, but we could provide a little bit.
What was the Belgian man's interest? Like, what was his connection?
He was trying to understand more about the types of people who were registered as interests at Lloyd's Insurance. So they had insurance in shipping, so the mercantile, and the people who came trying to understand more about the colonists who came out and their relationship and where they might have come from and what they did out here. And it was just a personal research project.
Seven 7.1, updated motion list. Is there any discussion on that? No? Okay. So we come to 8.1, management plan. Yes, I've got that. 8.2. Oh. Under 7.2 or 8.2?
7.2.
I was misdirected. Someone who should remain nameless said 8.2. Okay, so updated motion list we've done. 7.2 exhibition update.
So through the chair, we've been through our procurement processes, and the exhibition designer for the next exhibition will be Synthetic Creative with Richard Browning. So he's looking forward to working with the committee and staff again. We are planning on presenting a exhibition plan and draft concept at the December meeting for feedback and discussion. On the note of exhibitions, Denise Schumann came to see me on Wednesday to bring some things up. She said to say hello to everybody. She's been very busy and hasn't been interested in taking on extra work previously. However, she is very interested, she said, in our forthcoming 2025 exhibition on the rivers. And she will be joining the procurement process for that time. She's also helping me. She's putting a proposal together for doing some interpretation in the reading room for me. So, yes, which will be fabulous. So we've been very time constrained, but we're looking at how we can redevelop that. So Denise is putting a proposal to do some of that work for us. We've done a lot of the background research, so she can slot that in amongst her other work, hopefully. So, so we're looking forward to potentially working with Denise again on small projects and big projects.
Any questions or discussion? Helen?
Just delighted. We're blessed with having 2 excellent people there. I guess just because this is the 4th time we'll be engaging Richard, we are getting some other tender. I presume as part of the tender we get a number, and then Richard wins from that. It's not a rollover situation.
No. So through the chair, we go through our procurement processes. The other 2 players in the market don't generally work in exhibition budgets and smaller exhibitions. So
it's quite a niche market, and therefore we are fairly constrained.
It's very constrained in South Australia. It is very constrained.
if I could just add some comments, I think Richard Browning's a very good exhibition planner. However, it would be nice to have just somebody different every now and again. But this is the fourth time that we've had Richard, and so I'd be keen to see what else we could do, but I appreciate that it's very constrained. It's just the same person coming back again. And look, he's done some really good work and won some awards, etc. So, you know, I guess it is what it is. But I'm really pleased to hear that Denise is back coming and helping us with the reading room. I'm really excited to see what that interpretation of the reading room will look like. I think Denise is highly skilled, so yeah, let's see where that goes. I was talking to the RSL earlier today, and Colin, the president of the RSL sub-branch in Gawler, said that we don't do history very well. I don't know if that's quite true. I think that's a little bit untrue, but I think there may, in years to come, there may be an opportunity to do something around war and all our memorabilia around war, and it might actually satisfy the RSL, you know, or people who are returned servicemen and women in Gawler. So yes, I also asked him how many of the 700, 800 7 RAR are going to Darwin, and he said there'd be quite a few in Gawler. So, but he also said that they're splitting. The families will stay here, and and I was quite concerned about that. Splitting families because I don't think they've got the accommodation up in Darwin. So so we may still have the families here. So there may be we may have to think about how we support those people. Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw that in.
Thank you, Karen. Helen?
I'm just curious, just give us a bit of a taster of what you think Denise will do with the reading room. So it's the history, perhaps, the paintings?
So through the chair, what I've asked Denise to think about was the history of the reading room and the changes that it underwent. And then, if you can imagine, we've got a long reading rail, and the print will always be in sections. So what I've asked for is that to essentially be one section, and then the paintings to be individual sections, so that if we rotate paintings and have a different one, so, you know, for instance, we're unlikely to rotate the Molière because it's such a large painting and very heavy, but we may well, and we have rotated. We took out the shepherd and we put in the girl with the dogs. We may in the future put the shepherd back. What I'm doing at the moment is trying to bring together a mud map of all our large photographic and artworks to bring to the committee for a bit of a discussion and thinking about how often we want to rotate things in the reading room, aware always that we do not want to go back to a cluttered space. But we have large items in the collection that need to have some time exhibited and available to the public. So I thought if I could bring all of the information around that, we could start to think about how we can alternate, change, think about those sorts of things. But I would imagine with the reading room, the history will always stay in situ. The other thing, and we had a brief discussion some time back, is the old museum cases that we have in storage. Now, they appear to have either been made by James Martin or commissioned by James Martin. So we have, they're a significant item. We have 2 of them. Obviously, we don't put valuable things in those cases anymore. However, that might be an opportunity, and we'd have to, again, think about the space in the reading room to really tell the story of the museum. And that might be an opportunity to quite innovatively put the story of the museums in a case without the items being, any items being in a case, and potentially it could fit under the window. So it's my intention to bring a whole lot of information to the committee so that we could potentially workshop ideas, plans, and a program of how that might look going into the future. So we're really starting to establish ourselves now, and we're doing things on a routine basis, so we can plan years ahead, which would be fabulous for staff. It's very helpful that we have the next couple of exhibitions. Major institutions plan years and years in ahead, but small institutions gain a lot from that planning as well. So I think that's a real opportunity. So to have a workshop, that's what I'd like to do, bring the information. If we have a workshop, I can bring images of it all, put it all down. You can look at them and see and help me develop themes and ideas around that space.
You did prompt me to finish that research I was doing on why we have such a large art collection. So I will get to that and try and complete that. But your information, that segues nicely. How are you going with the storage? So some time back you took over the additional room and then purchased some racking. How's that going?
So through the chair, I had hoped to have it all neat and tidy and take you on a tour. It's at the moment, the art storage is fabulous. So we've transferred a lot of items in there. We've also put items in front of it, which makes it a little bit hard to get to have a look at. But we are the plan is to start bringing items back from Paxton Street storage to go in there. When an item comes back from Paxton Street, it doesn't initially go into the storeroom. If you can imagine, they'll often come back quite dusty. We have to inspect them. We certainly don't want to introduce any pests into our store facilities. So they stay in the centre for a little bit while we go over them and assess them. So it's a slow process, but we are starting that process. So in this is a downtime for us between when the next exhibition really ramps up, and this is our collection management time, which is fabulous because you never know what you're going to find with the Gawler Heritage Collection. And so we are utilising that storage space really well. We've also reorganised the little vault that's off G1, which is a fabulous space for a lot of reading room books overflows. So while we've got a lot of books up in the ante room, we've got a lot of overflow books there and there. They've all been catalogued there and there. So they're easy for us to access if somebody wants them. So we're moving through that space.
Just with Paxton Street storage, how far into the process are you? Because last time we went and had a look in it was chock-a-block full. So how far into it, and is it 2/3 or is it 1/3? How far into it before we actually get rid of that storage space?
So through the chair, if you remember, Paxton Street has a number of really large, we've got the Steinway in there, so that's a separate discussion for the committee and then council. But we've also got the Pioneer Park headstones, so they're a big part. So our section of current Gawler Heritage Collection items isn't that great. There are some very large framed photographs in there, and then there are a lot of smaller items. So I would say we've got 12 months' work to bring the Gawler Heritage Collection items back from there. I believe we'll be holding on to Pioneer Park headstones for a time longer than that, and we still need the committee to work through and then council to work through the Steinway.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? No? Thank you, Jacinta, for that input. Any questions without notice? No? Motion? Oh, yes, go for it.
Jacinta, just following up, thinking back to a previous meeting, you were able to share with us some Aboriginal artefacts that had been located. Are you able to update us perhaps with what's happened with those?
So through the chair, I'm assuming we're talking about the objects that were handed in to us. Yes, yes. So those items, Gawler elders know that we're holding those items. They're not, at this stage, that's all that's happening. We're holding them. They're not part of the Gawler Heritage Collection. We are just holding them for the elders. I imagine when we work on the rivers exhibition, given that those were items that were found along the rivers, and depending on what the elders want to speak about in that space, but that may well be an opportunity for those items to come out and be displayed. So I think, yes, I think the rivers is going to be a really timely and fabulous opportunity for us to talk about both colonial, the ecological impact on the rivers, and the Gawler perspective of the rivers. So we've already spoken to Gawler, they're keen to be involved in this. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity.
Thank you. And just remind me, 26 was the Circle of Life, 27 is the rivers, 28 was... No, I've got that wrong. Hang on, you're out.
Through the chair, you're jumping years ahead. 24 is Threads of Life, which is what we're calling it at this stage. 25 is the rivers. 26 will be Women at War.
Thank you for that. Now, management plan, I don't know that we need to do anything like that. Do you want to speak to it?
So through the chair, I'll be providing an update to the committee at the December meeting when we present the draft work plan for 2024.
Oh, thank you, Jacinta. Okay, no questions without... Any motions without notice? No? I'll close the meeting then. The next meeting is the 14th of December. Thank you, everybody.